Hello, my name is Leslie Nope. Recently, New Life Church has announced that they are hosting a play about the Bible, and it will be held during the Christmas services. They asked members of our Parks Department to hold the auditions and run the play. So it's my project. I'm very excited about it. So let's start with the Pentateuch. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. I need some content, people.
Leslie, the content is in the books. If you want to know what those books are about, then just read them.
Ron, you're a beautiful sunflower. I need a Bible pronto so we can get some ideas.
What if we made a rap about it?
That's a stupid idea. You would never do that.
Who does that?
That's a terrible idea.
Who
We
would do
never
that?
do-
Yeah.
In all seriousness, you have Genesis, which is about creation, history of the old world, steps taken by God to form theocracy. In Genesis, the covenant with Abraham is formed, which promises Abraham a great nation with many descendants. Exodus is about how Israel departed from Egypt, the tabernacle, and the giving of the law. Here, the Mosaic covenant is formed, promising that God will be our God, we will be his people, and he will dwell in our midst. Leviticus is... dang it.
It's okay, you can keep
It's
going.
okay, we can cut, yeah.
Leviticus is boring but intricate in the giving of the ceremonial law. Numbers, as if hinted by the title, is about the census of the people while also telling the story of the wanderings in the wilderness. Last but not least, Deuteronomy is about the law rehearsed, and the conclusion of the 5 books ends with the death of Moses. We then go into the history, starting with the book of Joshua. This story is the conquest and partition of Canaan.
Drive around at the partition, please. Drive around at the partition, please. I don't need you to.
The book of Judges is the history of the nation from Joshua to Samson. Ruth follows with the story of the ancestors of the royal family of Judah. This leads us into the books of Samuel, where the story of the nation during the judgeship of Samuel in the reign of Saul and the reign of David is told. We witness his accomplishments / screw-ups, freaking Bathsheba.
Women are a curse. Thanks, Eve.
Ron, no need to get personal. Please continue.
Here the unconditional covenant with David is made that Jesus will come through the line of David and that Solomon will build the temple for God. I look up to Solomon, but you could say that I am the Solomon of the modern age. Screw the government. Then there is 1st and 2nd Kings that finish out the Israelite monarchy, and the reign of kings that started with Saul and ended with Solomon destroying the kingdom. The Chronicles tell of the history of the kings of Judah and Israel. Ezra is the story of the return of the Jews from Babylonish captivity and of the rebuilding of the temple. A further account of the rebuilding of the temple and city happened in Nehemiah. Esther tells the story of a Jewess who becomes queen of Persia and saves the Jewish people from destruction.
So the tellings of wisdom start in Job, and the story of the trials and patience of a holy man of Edom. Psalms is a collection of sacred poems intended for use in the worship of Jehovah. The wise sayings of Solomon are told in the book of Proverbs. Ecclesiastes is the poem respecting the vanity of earthly things. The wisdom portion is summed up in Solomon's song with an allegory relating to the church.
We are then introduced to the major prophets, starting with Isaiah. In the book of Isaiah, he prophesies over the coming of Christ. Jeremiah prophesies announcing the captivity of Judah, its sufferings, and the final overthrow of its enemies. Lamentation tells of Jeremiah's sorrow upon the capture of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple. The message of warning and comfort to the Jews in their captivity is told in Ezekiel. Daniel is a narrative of the occurrences of the captivity in a series of prophecies concerning Christ, and this concludes the major prophets.
Micah is the predictions relating to the invasions of Shalmaneser and Sennacherib, the Babylonian captivity, the establishment of a theocratic kingdom in Jerusalem, and the birth of Messiah in Bethlehem. The prediction of the downfall of Assyria of the Chaldeans, and Zephaniah is a prediction of the overthrow for Judah because of its idolatry and wickedness. Haggai tells the prophecies concerning the rebuilding of the temple. The book of Zechariah is the prophecies relating to the rebuilding of the temple and the Messiah. The Old Testament is concluded with the book of Malachi, where prophecies relating to the calling of the Gentiles and the coming of Christ is told.
So, who's our first victim?
Some guy that I think you guys will really be excited about. Hello,
Hi, I'm Mark Scott.
I'm Leslie Nope.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm Leslie No.
I'm the Shroot. First and foremost, I would like to say that I will make a great Jesus character, not to brag or anything, but my wine is definitely better than the water.
Well, I just don't know if you're Jesus material.
Well, I'm definitely better than the original. I would definitely say that. Not to brag. Not to brag at all.
Well, on that note, let's take a 5-minute break.
I think I've got this in the bag. Leo DiCaprio has nothing on me.
Yeah, we still need to find a Jesus, though. You know, he's kind of the main reason we're doing this. Boom! He's perfect! Jesus has been born. Hey, mister, do you want to play Jesus?
Yeah, technically I work for them, so even if I wanted to say no, I'd probably get fired.
At first I was skeptical, but when I saw the beautiful mane, I knew. This man has been blessed by God himself. Frivolous locks are a gift.
You're a perfect Jesus. Perfect and blameless.
I don't think he's that perfect. I think I'll be better, but...
He's perfect. Will you be our Jesus and Savior?
Hey, I thought I was supposed to be Jesus. I'll do it if I can get the snack.
Wait! We can have 2 Jesuses.
Or 3, we can make our own Trinity. Sorry, I can't grow a full beard.
Michael!
Honestly, I think I should be the lead because I'm obviously lead material. So whoever that is, I'm down, as long as I live in the end and there's a sequel.
Yeah, no. Why? Because the lead is God, and God isn't really portrayed by an actor. I mean, have you seen Evan Almighty? You would make a good Morgan Freeman.
Okay, if not that, then who else?
It'd be Jesus. He's crucified, but he's still God in the flesh.
No, you know what? After that one, I'll be that guy.
That's Peter, and he's martyred.
Can we not just rewrite our own version?
No, don't.
Michael, I think you would make a good Satan character.
Who's that?
He's one of the main characters in the story.
I'm in. Let's go. Lead role confirmed.
The New Testament of the Bible is composed of 5 main divisions: the Gospels, Acts, Paul's epistles, and Hebrews, general epistles, and Revelation. The phrase gospel literally means good tidings or good news, and that is what the first 4 books cover. They cover the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, who is the Savior and Messiah that was foretold in prophecy in the Old Testament that would bring about a change for the Jews, who were slaves at the time. He was born of a virgin and was both fully man and the Son of God. He grew up without sin and trained those around him, mainly 12 highly trained followers called the Apostles. The Gospels are multiple accounts of his life, each covering the same story, but each has a different order, set of included events, and intended audience. Like the Church of Galatia, through Jesus and the Apostles, the Jews and Gentiles were becoming of one law and followed traditions such as circumcision. The 5th book of the New Testament is Acts. This book recounts the history... The 5th book of the New Testament counts the early history of Christianity. After the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, the 12 apostles began to preach and minister in a variety of locations. Acts relates some of their stories and depicts the growth of the Christian religion. The second half of Acts focuses on Paul, an anti-Christian who later converts and becomes a missionary. The next 13 books are all about The next 13 books are all letters by Paul, the previous anti-Christian but now prominent Christian leader and teacher. His letters are addressed to various communities and deal with philosophical and social issues facing new Christians. Each letter is tailored to the church it was written to and their local issues, but they each address similar issues and were foundational for the establishment of a healthy early church. The book of Hebrews is disputed when it comes to authorship, but it is assumed Paul wrote it as well. The books that follow Paul's letters are the 7 general epistles or Catholic epistles: James, 1st and 2nd Peter, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and Jude, as most of them were written as doctrinal admonishments, not for specific groups of Christians, but to Christians in general. The exception is the Epistle to the Hebrews, which was written to advise Jewish Christians to base their lives on the Christian doctrine of salvation rather than Old Testament law. The final book of the New Testament is Revelation. This is a book that is focused solely on prophetic experience, and it is considered one of the strangest and most complex books of the Bible. It contains various fantastical creatures and uses vivid imagery to convey certain points that outline the revelation of John. The revelation that he receives is of Jesus Christ in future events. The author may or may not have been John, but it is assumed that he is. This book may only seem like the end, however, this is only just the beginning. It is important to note that we are a part of God's story. The Bible is about Him, and He was gracious enough to include us in it. This is the word of the Lord.